Hello, I'm Glen Manners from Charity People. I head up the membership division here. Last week, I met up with Susie Rabin. She's the Associate Director of Communications and Public Affairs at the Royal Society of Biology. They were one of the few membership organisations, maybe the only membership organisation, that took up the trial for the 4-day working week. And I was really keen to chat to Susie about how that had impacted on productivity, operations, well-being. So what we're about to watch is a 12-minute chat to discuss that, and hopefully it will be insightful and inspiring. Thanks so much. Cheers. So I'm keen to hear all about this trial and how it's gone and a few details around it. Can you explain the basic parameters of what the trial was?
Yeah, so I joined the Royal Society of Biology last May, by which point I'd already made the decision to go ahead and join the 4-day working week. So I wasn't part of that original decision. But I think basically, the 4-day working week were and like wanting to basically undertake a sort of global trial of whether the 4-day working week worked, and they contacted us at the RSB to see if we'd be interested in taking part in the UK pilot, really, to see if we could work a 4-day week and deliver as an organisation and hopefully have happier staff. So yeah, that was the plan behind it, to do a trial. So they did work with I think Boston College were part of it, and they did do some sort of analysis as to what success looked like, and some surveying, quite detailed surveying of how people felt during I think at the start, during and after the trial. So it was a 6-month-long pilot, and we took part in it along with quite a varied number of other organisations in the UK. I think we were possibly the only charity. I think there was a fish and chip shop in Grimsby, and there is quite an eclectic range of organisations, but yeah, I think we were interested to take part and see if it was a positive way to actually improve our staff well-being, and and whether we could deliver on a 4-day week.
Fantastic. So was there much pushback from parts of the business or from stakeholders who weren't up for it?
Well, we're a member organisation. We have individual members and also member organisations, and we do provide client services to some of those member organisations. So we support them in terms of organising events for them, delivering their, overseeing their membership and things like that. So I think there was some concern from some of the member organisations as to whether their, contracted services would still be delivered if we were all having a day off, I think, as some people might have regarded it. And I think overall, I think staff internally were fairly positive, but I think there was some nervousness about, we're just going to be doing, 4 mad days a week, and are we actually going to be able to, do our jobs? Is it all going to melt down? Is it going to not work?
So does everyone take the same day?
No, so the organisation, we made a very conscious decision that we would work, particularly as we have sort of client services to deliver, we would work, the organisation works 5 days a week. So mostly people, nearly everyone has either Monday or Friday as a non-working day. I think there's one person that has Wednesday because of childcare issues, but yeah, basically it's Monday or Friday, so practically everyone is in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that is divided across teams, so that there's always someone from conferencing or events or something that is working on the Monday or the Friday. So we have cover in across the team. So there's sort of that split across teams in terms of which days they're non-working day.
Sure. What was the impact on employee salaries?
Well, firstly, we've made it non-contractual, so that was a sort of key part of it. So everyone is still contracted. Full-time employees are still contracted as a 35 hours a week, and so we didn't make the change contractual, and that was very deliberate not to do that. And What we did when we started the pilot, and we have continued with, is that people work 32 hours over 4 days. So that's 4 8-hour days. So an hour longer than they were contractually doing before. And for that, they get their full salary still. So people are getting their full salary for working 32 hours over 4 days. So it's not put anyone at a financial impact as part of taking part.
Fantastic. And everyone will be keen to learn what the impact of the trial was as far as productivity. Have you been able to unpick basically if people were less or more productive in line with the hours they were working?
Well, one of the things we did do was sort of as part of the pilot was we did get people to look at ways of working and, you know, doing things more efficiently and questioning whether, and I suppose it also helped because I actually came in and one of the other directors came in at the start of the pilot. So probably as new directors, we came in and went, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So that probably helped with sort of going, you really don't need to do that. And actually, you know, you are using a lot of time doing the thing that we probably could do differently or someone else could do or we could not do. So it was about getting people to look at doing things differently, doing things more efficiently, and also questioning whether things that are traditionally just not done actually needed doing. And we took part in, so Boston College as part of the pilot ran a survey looking at staff satisfaction and productivity, sort of, I think at the start, during and after, and they published their report, I think back in March, that we were part of. We also surveyed our own staff at the start and at the end of the trial, but I think the most of the thing was basically, could we deliver the work we were expecting to do in terms of supporting clients and the role of the organisation? And yes, so nothing is, you know, the organisation hasn't fallen over. We haven't not delivered. We haven't had clients fleeing you saying, how dare you haven't delivered what we've contracted to do. So we delivered and staff seem to be happy. So that seems to be a win-win, really.
Absolutely. So is there anything that you would have done differently looking back on the trial? Is there anything that could have been done differently? I'm thinking more about any future membership organisations that are thinking of doing a similar trial. Was there any lessons learned?
I think we did do good work probably at involving our own staff and making sure that they felt, you know, this wasn't just being done to them, they were part of it. Probably I think we could have been better at communicating with our members and our member organisations to say, you know, it's all going to be okay. We're on a because I think that probably did increase the sort of, you know, the sort of pushback from some of the members of how, you know, member organisations of how dare you, you know, you're charging the same amount, you're going to be doing 4/5 of the work, and it's like, well, we're not, we're still going to deliver, your contract will be delivered, and it has been delivered. It's just, you know, you might get a different person doing it on day 5 of the week as opposed to you know, the sort of day 4 of the week. But I think and I think actually it was quite interesting because I did read the survey from the 4-day week pilot, and actually I think one of the sort of lead people did say something about you do feel guilty actually, so initially on the sort of, you know, your non-working day of, should I be doing something? You know, it's Friday, technically I'm still being paid. Should I just check my email? Should I do something? And I think from my perspective, that was interesting because I did feel that as well at the start. And I think probably we should have, you know, maybe done some more supporting staff through that of going, you know, it's okay, find some, you know, not, I think there was some staff who thought that they should be sort of desperately, you know, keen to demonstrate that they'd done something productive and useful on their non-working day, and they sort of almost felt like, you know, it's sort of back on Monday and you have to say, well, I did this, really, whereas, you know, you might literally have just bummed around, watched Netflix and, you know, sat in the park for a bit or something.
Yeah.
If people want to do that. So I think probably in terms of managing how staff cope with that, we probably should have spent a bit more time thinking about, yeah, that sort of, yeah, do you feel guilty? You shouldn't feel guilty. And this is sort of how to I think we did sort of managing people's workload okay, but we probably didn't manage as well how the sort of implications of, you know, actually it's quite a big cultural shift. And I think, that needed a bit more support for some people, I think, yeah.
Makes sense. Have you made the incentive permanent?
Well, what we've done again, I mean, it has remained non-contractual because we actually thought changing everyone's contracts would have been more of a challenge. So we have gone ahead for the next year as well. So I think we've said we will carry on and we will review on an annual basis just to, the world may change and, suddenly something doesn't work, but at the moment it is still working. So we have decided to go ahead, and I think we will review again in sort of the end of 2023 just to check that it's working okay. But I think in the greater scheme of things, and people being paid to full-time to work less than full-time generally seems popular with staff, really. So
absolutely.
There being a pushback on that, really. Yeah.
Susie, before I let you go, any words of advice to any other organisations that are thinking of doing it? Do you recommend it? Anything that they should look out for?
I would definitely recommend it. I think it has made staff happier. I think it's improved staff wellbeing and their sort of work-life balance. I think, staff do seem to be sort of happier and more motivated. I think from a personal perspective, it's lovely not having to waking up on Friday and go, I don't have to go into the office today, or I don't have to work, which is great. I do think consulting with staff and people did come up with an awful lot of questions, really, which at the time a bit unnecessary, but I think just making sure that you talk it through with staff and sort of making sure that so those discussions have been held, and I think definitely not impacting on people's salary. I think that was the ethos of the 4-day working week pilot, but I think because otherwise it's an impediment to people taking part. It'll be those that feel they can afford it, or people will be wanting more hours, and I think people have gives them an extra day at the weekend. I don't think anyone's taken a second job as far as I'm aware, which I think is one of the questions we got asked previously, but I think people very much enjoyed just having that extra free time. And I think certainly I would advise member organisations to talk it through with sort of their key stakeholders and make sure that they're aware and what impact it will having. But certainly I think for us, and obviously that we are still a 5-day working week organisation, I think does mean that externally it's not had an impact, and have carried our members with us as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much for taking the time.
That's okay.